got to be a fake.
No, it's not. It's me.
Is it or is it not? That is the question.
It is the real Sally Morgan. It's me.
Hello?
I'm here. So, there you go.
Hello. How are you?
Well, I'm all right. How are you?
I'm not bad. I'm just having I've just popped on for 10 minutes. I don't know what's going on with this. I've just tried to expand you, but it's not letting us.
Well, no, that's good. I'm au naturel this morning, so we don't really want my face full screen. Thanks. It's good as it is.
Well, I know you've already had this said to you many, many, many times, but I'll say it as well, even though you didn't need it. You look very, very, very young for your age.
Thank you so very much. I think it's working hard, just like you, honey. I think the more that we work, the younger you stay, really. Do you know what I mean? You've got
I believe it, I do. I think keeping active and keeping yourself busy and focused on like things you want to do in your life, I think like it does help you. It does like I don't know. I mean, I suppose it comes down to genetics as well, let's be honest, but I think like being driven and focused on something you like believe in and what you want to do, I think like you find that happiness in you. I don't know, I think so.
Also, not owning, I always say to everybody and everyone in this game that's any good, you can't own the hate. You have to. I mean, I'd really love to think that I don't have a thick skin, but I think that you acquire over the years. You could say like a bit like you put a barber coat on, you don't get wet. It's a bit like whenever I work. I'm working all the time, just like you. But you put on this coat and you can't allow them in. And I think that also keeps me young, because otherwise I think I'd be 6 foot under now if I let them get to me. It was just in me. I just did it because I could do it.
Then I would put that down as like spirits inspired you. That's what I would say.
I think that you could say that, and I would agree with you. I think that it's like I was a very, very heavy lady. I was at my heaviest. I was 27 stone, and I remember I was doing my television series at that time as well, and I just really, my profile had just taken off, you could say. Although I ran a practice for 45 years from home, 45 years, I did the factory floor.
What's your daughter called?
Ferne,
hello. Ferne, do you know, like, I don't know whether it's like one of yous or I don't know if you're right about us connecting straight away. Like, but I'm getting like stomach pains and I'm getting as if like, and I didn't know if this is with Dad, I didn't know, because I don't know how he passed, and that's the truth. Like, but I'm getting stomach pains and like, I don't know, feeling sick. Like it's as if like there's a lot of tension. Like, I don't know if you're a full-on stress head, like, and you carry a lot of stress, and like, I don't know if you used to joke on with your dad all the time about your mum. Like, it was like your mum would shout, "Well, you two stop tag teaming me," like as if like it was always like, "Dad, you need to tell her," and then your dad would say, "No, you need to tell her because she doesn't listen to me. She doesn't listen." But I feel like you and your dad used to have that special bond where like you two would always like have to like work together at calming your mum down.
Oh yeah. She's very like her father. Yeah.
And I also feel as if like with him, like, I didn't know if he was like a set in his weird type of guy where he would always wear like the same sort of stuff. Like he'd always have a short sleeved shirt and you'd have to iron it for him. I didn't know, but I just get like he was very set in his ways, like the way that he was. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
And I don't know, Sally. I didn't know if you really went out your way. I don't know where I'm going with this, and I haven't got a clue. But he's shown us a very expensive watch. Not just a cheap watch, like a one that you must have went out your way and see that you deserve that because you've always stood beside me all this time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've always watches a particular item of jewellery that I've always.
Sally,
liked.
you're not better than anyone. That you just meant to say yes or no, didn't you? You're not better than anyone. Like, you know what I mean? You only need to say yes because I'm getting this as if like it was a really like I don't know, it was like a Rolex or.
No, it was a shop. It's a shop at a solid gold shopper.
I don't know, because as I said, Rolex, he was sort of shaking his head as if, no, it's not a Rolex, a typical thing, but it was a really expensive watch, and there was some massive significance with this watch. It was
given to me by a client in Dubai, but you haven't got it anymore. No.
Because he's mentioning, I don't know if he had a collection of watches and like certain ones.
Yeah, he
He,
has, but all the children have got one each. I've
right,
got
well,
mine too.
you're telling us things that I can't tell you, Fern, because you're telling me them when I'm trying to tell you them.
The grandsons have got each have got one of his watches. Well, they've got the two. They've all got 2 watches each, and there's 4 of them. Yeah, the boys have got one of his watches. They've all got his watches.
Yous must have liked your holidays, Sally, mind. Like,
They had lovely holidays.
cause like, I didn't know, like, these, like, I don't know if when you had a few tipples, you would have a little, like, dance and, like, you would always have, like, a joke on.
Oh yeah, we were always getting hold of one another.
That's
We had
France,
that we
isn't it?
we loved the south of France. We were going to buy a house there, but he died. We were very the pair of us were incredibly. I mean, we were together 51 years, a long time, and it was like he was the only man for me, and I was the only woman for him.
But the thing that I get with him is, like, I feel like it's as if you weren't just like I know obviously he's husband and wife and that, but to me, it's like, it wasn't just that. It was like, you just could, I mean, he was probably the grumpy one out of both, like the same as I'm with my wife, but like, I feel like you just could have a joke. It was like a very relaxed, like, windy up type of relationship, where you would just like if he was you can, oh, shut up, man, stop moaning, and like, just, like, you could always have a banter with him, and like, even in the biggest tough that he could be in, he would just end up going, shut up, and like, you know what I mean, smiling, all that.
He was very silent. He was unless he had something to say,
He wouldn't see it.
he wouldn't. He wasn't a man for small talk. But if he liked you, then he wouldn't shut up. Yeah.
Fern, I don't know.
You could turn on a sixpence like that.
It's Fern, but with you though, like, I feel like, I don't know, like, I keep getting this like stressfulness with you. Like, I feel like you it's as if you cannot stop. It's like you're like a very protective person, but too much. Like, I feel like your dad's sort of saying, listen, like, you need to really, like, rein it in a little bit, because you never slow down, and you're frantic and you're stressing and stuff. You'll start getting tight chests and things, and you're like always like, no, I'll sort that out. We need to sort this out, and it's like you're doing that.
Do it.
I know, but sometimes, like, you've got to step back and think to yourself, I help, and I get that, and I'm sure your mum, no doubt me mind, she massively appreciates what you do, but I do think sometimes, like, you're a little bit, like, and I think you'll probably agree with this, you've a little bit full on too much. Like, you didn't know when to, like, stop. It's like, if you're not worrying about work and promoting and dealing with all these things, it's then you're worrying about family time, and you're worrying about, like, things ahead, and then you're worrying about the bands, and you're worrying about this, and you're worrying about that, and I feel like your dad's, like, sort of, like, saying you need to tell her to, like, really rein it in, like, because she's like, I don't know, I feel like he's worried about the stress levels, and you might laugh about it, no, I do get myself, but you do need to take a step back and, like, have a look at, like, what your long-term goal is, because you're like on a treadmill, and you've sped it up that fast that you're too, like, you need to, like, slow it down and think, I didn't need to do that, and I didn't need to do that, and I really didn't need to do that, because, like, all of these things is, like, they're a bit full on, and it's not good. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. Just spot on. The thing is that you can't. She's like her father's. You're not going to tell her, because she totally runs everything. So I don't bother. I like with her dad, I wouldn't have bothered. When he was full on with something, I just used to, let him do it.
Stephen, I love the way you do. I was watching your live the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, drawing the pictures. I think it's amazing. Well, I was showing Mum.
Well, you know why she showed me, Steve? I don't know if you know. I do something, I've done it for years, called, well, it used to be called the Vicar's Watch, but I call it the Watch now since John died.
Right.
We've moved from the rectory. And basically, it's a table that I have, and I discovered it one day. I was having dinner on my own, and there was John was alive, and there was a candle on the table, and literally the table came alive with faces.
Right. And did you take photos of them?
Oh God!
Well, what happens is when she does it, people, when they're watching it on the live, people can see faces in the table, and what they do is they screen. they screenshot it and they send pictures in and they say, "Oh, I can see a face, I can see," and over the years, I'm like, "Oh my god, yeah, actually, I can actually see a face there."
Oh, you can see amazing things.
And Mum just does a live, and then people will say, "Oh, I can see a face. I can see. I think that's my granddad's face, or I think that's my mum's face." Blah 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 blah. And it's really good. And then we were watching your live, and I was like, "Mum, you've got to see this guy. He's incredible." And then seeing what you do, it's like another level.
Well,
It's incredible what you do.
I used to teach mixed martial arts and like cage fighting and stuff like for years, and like as I was saying to you earlier about me nana being a medium, but nobody had ever told me that that me nana was a medium, because she'd passed away when I was 10, and then like all these years later, basically cutting a long story short, like all of this started happening to us. Like it was when I met my wife, to be honest with you. It was like the first time like I'd sort of become like calmer, because I'd had a bit of a tough upbringing, and like I used to like run like dom and like do like security on nightclubs, and I'm not really tough at all, like, but it probably comes across that way. But like I got into mixed martial arts purely because of bullying and stuff. But I drew my wife's wedding dress a week before we got married on a piece of paper, and I says, "I've just seen you in your wedding dress, you know, at the door." And she went, "Shut up, man," and all this, and I drew it anyway, and then she come walking down the aisle with that on.
Oh wow!
And like, and then I started going to spiritual circles after I'd came back from a stag do in Ibiza, and I was like, it was the second night, there was a girl there from Ireland, and I'd actually, like, after this was after when I started doing this, I drew a nana, right? But this was like after I'd done the like after I'd been to Ibiza, like you're going back to like probably 2 years later, and a girl, like she, like we were all like, I didn't know her and I didn't know anyone apart from the lads who I were with, and I only knew half of them, because you know, on a stag do or hen do, there's loads of people coming who you didn't know, isn't there? And we were all in this one room. And then like the second night we were out, like obviously I was drinking. That was it, just drinking. And it was like, I don't know, like I just had like visions of where this lass lived in Ireland and stuff. And I says like, do you live like in this, like where this house, and it's like there's a big kitchen with Ireland and all this stuff? And she was like, aye, I do, aye. And I start seeing more things, and I says I don't know, I'll just say this. And she went, jokingly, she went, "All right, then what's me nana's name?" And I went, Jane or something. And she just jumped up and she was like freaked out. Obviously it freaked me out as well, you know. And I was like, Kelly, calm down. Like I didn't know, you know. And then all night everyone was asking, "Do you know what about me? Do you know?" And then in the morning I woke up and everyone was like saying to us, like, "Steve, you mad, yeah?" Like, and I was like thinking I'd done something daft, like because I'd been drinking the night before in Ibiza. And they were like, "Can you remember what you tell us and that?" And I was like, "No, this is, oh, you said this and you said that and you said this." And then when I come home, I'd rang my wife and I was like in tears, like I was saying, "Paul, I don't know what's going on with me." I says, I'm telling people stuff and I didn't know how it works or what. And she says, "Well, when you come home, just you're going to have to go into a spiritual circle or something and find out what's going on with you, you know." And that's what I did. And then I got into spiritual art. But my nana was called Betty Black and my daughter's called Chloe. And I found this on my daughter's birthday, on the day of her birthday when she was 5, in my gym, in the till.
Wow.
Happy
birthday, best wishes, Betty, yeah.
And then I went to this spiritual circle and I went round this woman's house, right, in my mind. I didn't know what I was talking about. She'd lost her late husband. And I'd went into her house in my mind, and I went into this like wardrobe thing, and I described the house. Like she was playing it cool as if I, like, she, you know what I mean? I didn't know what I was on about until after. And I messaged her and afterwards, and she went, "Stephen, honestly, like, I don't know about the box, but like, you've just described me house." And then it was about 2 weeks later, she finally went into this box and she found the box in there. Like after I texted her saying, "Have you been in this box?" Because I tell her about these pocket watches and knife and like photos of her late husband in this box in there. And she went, "I'm in the box, I can't believe I've took photos." I mean, this was like 10, 11 years ago now. And she sent us a photo of the stuff in the box.
Yeah. It's mad, isn't it?
And proper mad. But that was the first thing. That was the first thing that like I'd ever done. That was like where it all like started. And even then I didn't really. I mean, I don't know how long it took you, Sally. I don't know. But even then, I'm talking years later before I really believed in myself. And I still question it even now, you know, and I'm standing up in a show and that, and I'm like, hyperventilating and like panicking and that, like really bad. Like I'm thinking, oh God, I hope it makes sense. And I think it's because when you care, you like.
Well, that's
You,
it. But
you,
that's good. You know, that's your empathy and your compassion and your kindness. And also, I think that it's so important that as mediums, we are responsible for our own ability. And that's you. You know, we're our biggest critique, aren't we? And I think that makes us good mediums.
But do you not think as well, like, it doesn't matter, like, how accurate and how specific? When I first started out, right, and this started happening to us, I was, like, in this belief of, like, oh, my God, like, this is going to change, like, the world. It's going to change people's beliefs. They're going to understand now that our loved ones are still around us. Like, they're really going to believe it.
No, they're not. They're not.
But then I got to you know what I'm going to say?
You get a shock.
You get it trampled out of you. Like some of the people, even this morning.
You see, you don't if you're a true medium. You know, seriously, if you're a true medium, people will try to trample it out of you. But you know, I think that it's not what we do. It's not a science, and it ebbs and flows. And I say to people, 1 minute it's like Niagara Falls, and the next minute it's like the dripping tap in the kitchen. And it's not about a belief system. It's about trusting what you're sensing as individuals. And we're never, ever, ever going to have everyone saying that it's true, because it isn't a science. It's a sense. It's an energy. It's unseen. It's unseen. It takes the medium to describe what everyone else cannot see, and I think that it can be very difficult. But you just have to. What I do, I just go on stage, and what comes, and some of it isn't meant to, you know, be validated there and then. Some of it is meant to be validated the next day or next year, and it is validated the next day and the next year. And that's what's annoying. If that is not shown, and we get emails and people do tell us the next day, the next week, the next year.
I get that.
Yeah, and you know, some of the topics are really sensitive, and they don't want to stand up in the theatre, and they don't want the whole, and that's understandable. And then the trolls and the skeptics, they don't get to see that. So that's fine. We're told.
But do you not think though, like, that there is a lot of people out there who really are not actually meant to know? Because if they did, they probably wouldn't be here as long as what, like, people are meant.
I don't think we are meant to know everything. I don't think we're meant to know everything. And I think that, you know, the insight that someone like yourself and myself we get, I think that, you know, we're very brave to be prepared to share it with people.
Well, without a doubt. I mean, God, if this had been this time 100 years ago, we would have been burning at the stake as witches and stuff, wouldn't we?
I would, because I'm related to you. You would. And there still are people that witch hunt us and that want us burnt at the stake. They're still around today doing it.
Oh, I get it all the time.
I get told dreadful things, but I just, seriously, I can't even own that. That's in their head. That's how they see it. And all I can say is, you know, I feel sorry for them.
Oh, yeah, I do as well. I just think, like, if you're not, you've got, the way I try and describe it is, I think you've got to have the skin of a rhinoceros when you were talking about the barber chat earlier, and you've got to be sensitive enough, like, to be so sensitive to be able to connect and help people. Like, so you've got to have, like, sort of both sides of you, where you've got to, like, sort of, because it does. I mean, I know there's a process, and I think as a medium, you do mature in time. It's a different type of maturity, but I think, like, as you're progressing with mediumship, I think you've got to have this ability to be, like, sort of lift a shield up when you need to, when you're getting attacked, and then put it back down and be sensitive for the people you read.
Well, I do think also that, you know, it's no mistake that you and I are mediums. I think that it's like preordained. There's just no doubt about that. And I really feel that you've got to have the right personality to do it at the level that you and I do it. When I started, there was no social media, so I've grown with the social media. as in trying to allow social media to fit in with my work. Whereas mediums nowadays, this is how you do your work.
Definitely.
But I think that for my personality, I will not allow people to upset other people at my shows. When I get heckled continually. And,
Well,
I'm normally heckled by people that say they're psychics and they want to come on stage. And I say to them, come up, I'll give you 10 minutes. I've not had one take me up on it yet.
do you I mean, at the beginning of any show that I do now, well, when I say that, it's probably been the last 4 or 5 shows that I've did. I actually like pre-warn people now, because of the one that I did like a couple of shows ago, and it was really disgusting. The crowd like were drunk, you know what I mean? And I didn't day shows on a weekend. I'll only do them on a Tuesday, Wednesday or a Thursday, like purely because like obviously it's a weekday, and like hopefully, I mean, some people still spoil it obviously, but like through drinking. But I'll say at the beginning, like I'll say, listen, do you know, everybody can hear us, I've got the mic on and all that, speakers. And I'll say to everyone in the room, I'll say, listen, there's people in here, right, who are like really struggling. There's people lost children, partners, blah, 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 blah. I says, and they've come here for a connection that I'm going to try my best for them. And if you've come here just to get drunk and gone on like an absolute toolbox, you're going to be remembered for it, not me. So if there's any of yous in here, and I says, some of yous will know them, they'll be sitting next to you right now. I says, and I'm not laughing, so no, they really get drunk. I says, because they used to come into this venue and they're always associated with being getting drunk. I says, if yous going to want to come and just drink and get like too drunk, I suggest yous leave now, right? Or I will tell yous to go. And I says, is everyone all right with that? And every time everybody's like, yeah, and cheering and saying, aye, definitely. And I think you find that when you've pre-warned people, I think it plants the seed in the head that they're aware now, like, I best behave, like, because like the whole crowd's going to be against us.
As soon as if I get a heckler, I'll tolerate it for so long, and then if I can see people around those hecklers, there's normally 2 of them, sometimes there's more. I don't think I've ever had a heckler alone, and I'll stop the show and I stop it dead, and I just say, first of all, I go, do you have a problem? What's the problem? You know, if you want to laugh at me, I've no problem with that. If you want to laugh at my clothes or my personality or how I talk, no problem.
That's fine.
That. But you're not going to laugh at my work, because there are people here that have bought a ticket for my work, and we're dealing with, the majority of the time, we're dealing with loss of some sort, whether that be your health, your home, your job, a person, a pet. We are dealing with people trying to cope with loss. And I'll just say, and I would say there are 10 doors there and 10 doors there, which there normally aren't, and then none of them are locked. Piss off.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have to speak their language, because it's not.
Yeah,
would you please leave the theatre? No, you have.
I learned that when I used to work at the doors. If you had to talk to people the way that they would expect you to talk to them, because if you talk to some people nice, they would think you were a mug. But like, so you had to like, and they go, oh, I remember them. Yeah, it's true. It's true.
You know, and I think that with dealing with hecklers, it's not nice. And if a fight breaks out, which it can do, I have to, with the health and safety in theatres, the talent, they call it, has to leave the stage. And the rest of the audience, that's great, because the audience that are not causing the problems, they turn on the people that are.
That's right. Ferne.
Yes.
How do you...
She's stuffing her face there.
How do you... Well, it's healthy, though. How do you deal, like, with... Like, because it's your mum at the end of the day, you know, and you did give me that impression from what I've said to you earlier, that you're very protective. So how do you cope with, like, your mum getting heckled, shall we say?
Well, I don't go to the show.
So you know I can handle it.
Yeah, we get so much. I don't let her see a lot of the stuff that we get.
Aye, that's a good moderator, that. That's a good moderator. I didn't even reply to them now. I just delete them.
Oh yeah, I don't. I don't give them oxygen. I don't give them oxygen.
It's the best way, because it's just. I think there's a lot of people out there, and like, I'm not defending them, but they've got very sad lives and they're struggling. But they've been selfish by like thinking that taking it out on others, any attention's attention, is where I think the problem is.
You know, I think that it's.
I mean, I've had it my whole life as well. So
How were you at school, Fern? Like, you know, like when people knew, like, you know, because let's be honest,
Really tell 'em.
I know, but when your mum ended up on telly, like, it would have
Yeah,
been a
well,
bit.
when I was out of school then,
Well, yeah.
I had children. I had children quite young. So my kids were in school. And I used to say to my kids, because I learned from when I was at school, I used to say, don't tell anyone what Nanny does. When she was well on telly, it was a bit like, oh no, now people are going to know what she does.
I can remember you sitting in the back garden with, I think I must have watched every single program that you had on like Sally. I really enjoyed it. But I'm sure I remember you sitting in the back garden with your mum chatting about stuff on the camera. I might be wrong.
Maybe, yeah. So I did to protect the kids, and we did have issues with some of them. I didn't let my kids have social media. I really didn't. They didn't have anything. You know, adults now, so they have now. But I was really protective of my kids.
Are you as familiar with Eckhart Tolle?
No.
His book, The Power of Now.
No.
You really should read that, you know, Fern.
Let me write that down.
Go on YouTube and type his name in, Eckhart Tolle. Eckhart, Eckhart Tolle, Tollie, and then type his name into YouTube and Oprah Winfrey, and just watch. Because she has him on her show loads of times about like how much it changed her life when she read his book. And I'd read his book because a girl had like when I used to teach MMA too. She pestered us for like weeks and months about reading this book, but I never had time because I was either teaching in the gym or I was working the doors on the night. And I went away on holiday in Egypt, and I can still remember the name of the hotel, like which is unusual because I never remember anywhere where I've been off reading that book. But it really changed my life, like massively. Like it's boring. It's probably one of the most boringest books you'll read, and if you can get 50 pages in, you'll probably curse us up until the 50th page because it's not 50 Shades of Grey and out like that. It's a medicine book, but you know when you get 50 pages in, you'll go, that makes total sense. Like the way that he's talking about like overthinking and stressing and worrying and whatever. No.
But I couldn't do my work, you see, unless I was an overthinker. My brain, which is, you know, very few people could cope with, I couldn't do my work at the level that I do it unless I'm allowed to do it how I am now.
Well, because it's a natural thing, isn't it? Like you kind of teach it. I don't think you can. I mean, you can guide people and help them, but you kind of teach. Like you'll be totally different to me. Like where you do your mediumship.
Yeah, you're born. Like people say to me all the time, "Oh, are you psychic?" And I'm like, "No, you're."
We all have.
I mean, very intuitive.
Yeah.
Like, I've been around it, and I do get things, and I've seen things, but like nothing. Like you have it, or you don't have it. I think like you.
Do you not, Fern? Do you not think there's levels though, Fern? Do you know what I mean? Like we're gonna all kick a ball if we can walk and move our legs, obviously. Do you know what I mean? But we're not David Beckham. But like, I think. You know what I mean? Your mum's like sort of David Beckham levels here, and you maybe he's like playing on a Sunday, or not even that, just having a big kick about when you can. It's like I think everyone's got their ability to sense things, and I think everyone, if they follow their gut instinct, they can sense stuff around them as well.
So like I'm intuitive, and I can. Yeah, I think you can develop it, but I think like you and Mum, obviously just have it. Like you have to learn it. You just have it. It's there.
I think it's having the balls to like really like, because there's never a time, and I don't know if you're the same, Sally, but there's never been a time like ever when I've had like, even last night I read a girl live. I just put the video up this morning there, but like I get names or whatever, I get whatever, and like in my head, and I'm like, oh, is this gonna make sense? And then I see it, you know what I mean? And they're like, I'll never forget this reading I did for a girl, and it was a girl I'd read, and she'd lost her mum. This was a couple of years ago. I don't know exactly when, but I kept getting shown strawberry, and eventually I just went, listen, I didn't know what this means at all, but I've got to see it here, strawberries. And she burst into tears, and I was like, whoa, are you all right now? And she was like, aye, and I was like, what's the matter? She went, me, mum and my daughter, every year was a special thing to us. Like that was all I asked her to bring through. We used to go strawberry picking. But to me, I mean, or anyone.
Well, I think that's a really good lesson to any other medium. Or so I always say, they say, what bit of advice? I mean, I would never advise anybody anything. No, not me. It's like, why would anyone take my advice? But I think with this work, never, ever, ever self-edit. It needs, as it comes into your head, if you're passing it on, if you're working, it has to be passed on how you're seeing it.
I treat it like as if you're working in a bank and like you're a bank clerk. That money's not yours. It's not yours to do anything with.
Right, exactly.
It's the same with ratings. It's like, it's not my information,
No,
even though it is hard because you're only human and you question it. I don't know, Addy, like, I mean, you've been doing it a lot longer than me. God, no, God, you must have been doing it 4 times longer than me.
I think that you're so old. I'm so old. Yeah.
No, I didn't mean that in an old way. It's very experienced.
Yoda. I am like Yoda, but I think that if you have to, they have to have it exactly as you get it, and I think that it has to be unedited, and that's where you get your hits and your wow factors. And at the end of the day, people only watch us if we're accurate. They don't want to know if you're not accurate. But you're not going to be accurate all the time, because
No.
what you see isn't for like now. It can be for tomorrow or next week or next year.
Do you think you've got to be very humble as well, Sally?
Of course, and I think that being humble needs to be innate. It cannot be learned. You either are. That's why we're chosen. I think if we're naturally humble, I think that coming from hardship and mistakes and trauma, definitely we need to have that wrapped around us, which you have and I have.
It's the same like when I used to teach people like MMA. I used to say to them, if you look at any of the top fighters in the world, I mean like world class, like you know, they've got belts, they're holding world champion belts in the UFC. If you look, they're coming from third world parts of the country. Like 9 times out of 10, they're from like Brazil, like Rio de Janeiro, and these top like high level fighters, even people in America, but they've come from a bad background. They're so humble and they're so like Fedor Emelianenko. He was like best heavyweight in the world, and like you wouldn't even, if he was standing next to you, right, he's about the same size as me, you wouldn't even know like who he was. He's just so respectful, like he always make an effort wherever he won. Like I remember me old instructor said he was like, he went to the cage rage down in London and he was just standing in the crowd just watching the fights, and all right guys.
Well, that's what I like to do. I remember one of the very, very first gigs I ever did, it's got to be 40, maybe 45 years ago. It was at a and it was the woman that introduced me to Helena Roach, and who was the Princess of Wales' assistant. But basically, I was doing it at a university, Kingston upon Thames University. And I never forget. And I arrived early. I never liked to arrive late. And there was and there, of course, there were going to be mainly kids at this university. And I walked into this hall and I thought, oh my God, there was about 100 chairs. I thought, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to do this. So this woman walked across the stage. There was like a little platform, and she looked at me and I said, was it all right if I sit in it? Thinking that she knew who I was, but she didn't. Why did I think anyone would know who I was? Because nobody knew who I was, really. I was just working from home. Anyway, I decided I'd sit down on this chair, and little did I know that the students were still putting out chairs. So basically, I sat right in the middle, and these chairs went out. And I thought, I was fat then, and I had these leggings on, and I thought, well, I can't get up and walk out. So I just sat there. So about half an hour went by, people are coming in, and the woman who's putting on me, she's up and down looking for me, and I'm thinking, and I'm going like that, and she's looking at me just to say, you're waving at. Anyway, and I thought, I don't know if I'm going to like this. I can't work from the middle, sitting in the middle, like, it's like stools sitting in the middle of this, like 100 feet. So, people are taking their seats, and all of a sudden, this woman comes on and says, excuse me. So I'm sitting there thinking, oh, she's going to introduce someone else. She goes, is there a Sally Morgan? And I went, oh, she's looking at me. So I went, yeah. So she went, why are you there? I went, well, I've been here waiting. Like, and people like around me, they were going, oh my God, that's the woman who's going to be like, was there people coming in? Yeah, they were sitting there, and I was right in the middle because they built all these chairs around me. So she said, can you come up here, please? They want you up. Like she was telling me, So I get up, I've got like me as I said, I was like a big thing, and I'm like, oh, excuse me, sorry. So everyone's thinking, what the fuck is she doing in the audience? So you could just see what, and I'm thinking, oh, I look really silly now. So I go up to this woman, and so she went, we've got a room for you where you can relax, and do you like to meditate? I went, no, I've been waiting to go, and I've been here half an hour, I've been waiting to go. So she went, oh, you're just going to walk on, are you? I went, well, I'm on stage. I was on stage, like everyone's like these crazy. So she went, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to introduce a psychic evening, Sally Morgan. I mean, what do I think about it? And I've been sitting with these people, and they're like going, it was hysterical, really. And I think that, humble beginnings, very, very humble beginnings. And that you could see afterwards, people were running towards me. Oh my God, that was you sitting next to me. I need you. Can you carry on? I was like, well, no, I'm only here to do heart. I think I got paid something like £25. I thought that my life had changed,
It's mad, isn't it? Like, it's mad when you look back in time, like, if, like, sort of things, what you did then, and, like, what you appreciate, I suppose. Like, as things started off, it was the same with me, but it was in the lockdown, we were coming out of the lockdown, and that's when, like, it probably is about, I don't know if it was 6 months to a year after, like, I realised that I had to give my gym up. I physically couldn't be there as much as I would like to have been, and I thought, I've got to, like, I've been in it 16 years. I thought, I've got to give the gym up.
You have to, what you have to do, and you sort of know, like when I say I got home from that awful afternoon at the dental practice, and I just thought, this is someone saying to me, you're going to do it now full time. And
you've been forced.
I'm a medium. That's when
Were you like that anyway, though? Sorry, Fern.
How long have you been touring then?
Well, I would say, and I don't know exactly. I don't know exactly, but the most I think it was probably the last 2, maybe it's just over two year. But that was purely, and it was still touch and go with this because, like, I really suffer bad with anxiety, like horrendous. I've had panic attacks, like in shows. Like, it's kind of bad at times. That's why I think that book would help you. What I've read, I really could do with reading it again, to be honest. But I've got a guy who supports us, a guy called Blake, and I met him in the lockdown. He was like singing around our area where we live and stuff, and he's a singer anyway. But like he was going out to like people's homes, like in the gardens, and he was like singing for charity and stuff. Like he would just plug his system in, like because he was allowed to be outside, and he was bringing people together, and it was it always done loads for charity anyhow. As he was like singing round the corner to me, I'd heard, and me, my wife and me daughter went round, and we were like, well, had them deck chair things, you know what I mean? And we were sitting like just watching him and all that, and like I'd went over at the end, and I just said to him, I says, look, I says, like, I'm a clairvoyant, and I would like to give you a free reading, like, because like I really appreciate what you're doing for the community and that, because he was like doing 4 or 5 gigs a day, but like people were donating, and he was giving it towards the carers and stuff for like the homes and all that, like to help them, and so anyway, I read him, and I drew his dad. I drew his dad, and I'll show you actually. I drew his dad for him. That's it there, and he just went white, and
oh my God, yeah.
That was the first thing I ever seen ever, was me dog, and I couldn't even draw then because I didn't have like the technology what I've got now to be able to draw, like with iPads and stuff.
Oh no!
But that's where I started, and he'd lost his mum in the lockdown as well. Like she passed away, like she had dementia, and she'd passed away in the home. But anyway, that was like after I'd got to know him, and then he was doing like a local radio show, and he asked us to pop along. Like I knew more or less what he was wanting us to do. He was wanting us to help him like do the show. Anyway, I did a show with him, and we called it Sentimental Sunday Show. So when I was reading people online, I was asking them like, what the name of, like the favourite song that, like, say they'd lost a nana. I'd say, well, what was our favourite song?
Oh, right.
And I'd give them a mention and say this is for their nana June, for an example, and it's like Wind Beneath Me Wings or whatever, and then I would play it, and it got really, really popular, the show in the lockdown. But when we came out of the lockdown, he was like sort of pursuing and pushing us to like take it on the road, like start doing shows, like and do like the readings and stuff.
Yeah.
But the anxiety that I had was just like
Really bad.
off the map.
Oh, really? So what do
Really
you do?
before each show.
What is it? Is it before or as you walk on? When do you get anxious?
I'm not as bad now, but I switch off from it because what I've done is I've forced myself to do more and more shows, and I've booked like because I'm really determined, Sally, when I need to be, but like I'm very driven when it comes to it. I don't know if it's my upbringing or what, but like I've booked that many shows in now that like I've got no choice because these shows are like booked a few months ahead, and like so.
Yeah, like you can't not do them.
I didn't think about the show up until I literally get to the gates, do you know what I mean, to the door, and then I haven't got a chance to think because I've got like a projector screen, projector stands, projector to set up with my iPad. My iPad needs linking in. I've got my mics to link in and then link into the mixer. I've put lights up on.
Wait till it gets bigger and you've got crew and you've got bookers and you've got contracts and you can't back out.
Well, if it ever comes to that, I don't know whether that'll be good or bad for us because if I've got more time to think, like, then that's bad. Because, like, if I'm sitting thinking about, like, the show that I'm about to do, like, you know, when you're sitting in a dresser, Sally, and you say, oh, well, do you meditate? Like, I like to be like...
I don't do any of that.
No, I like to hit the ground running. I like to be, like, sort of, like...
Well, you're like me. My work has to be very instant.
Yeah, same.
You know, it's what is there because the energy is there, and it's I believe I'm harnessing energy around individuals. I'm picking up on their energy field. So it has to be instant. There's, you know, when people say, like the cynics and skeptics say, oh, you know, you stop at, this is what I get, stop at cemeteries, and it's like, what? You know, first of all, I'm on the M25 most of the time, or the M1, or the M6, or the M4, it's like, where are the cemeteries? But you know, when people go, you Google everybody, it's like, what? I don't even know who's in the audience.
Can you ever sit and relax?
No.
Yeah, I do. Well,
she watches, what her thing is, she's obsessed with Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
So she watches that over and over and over and over and over. She's like obsessed with it.
So really you need something that you're interested in. Like you've got to be like sort of...
I've got my garden. My garden is my
so you can relax.
I get up in the morning. It can be hailing, wind, and I walk. I have my cup of tea in the garden.
Yeah, that's your relax.
Well, I don't know. Oh, you do into there. I keep seeing like mosaic stuff.
Oh, mosaic, yeah.
Like a table with like mosaic stuff on and things like that, an archway. I don't know what that's about.
I don't know. I've got artwork.
Is this garden?
Is
this garden?
Yeah, I've got my garden. I love my garden.
I
don't have anything mosaic, but I've got lots of pots that are perhaps broken.
I don't know what a mosaic would be.
I just seen mosaic stuff there. I don't know what it is, but I get it all the time. Like when I'm talking to someone, stuff pops in my head, and then I'm like, it.
Maybe it's something I'm going to buy. The thing is that you're probably like me as well. I think you work like this. That I don't really. I'm not a fortune teller. And I don't really see the future. I mean, I hope
that's like something abroad and we're going to go on holiday.
Yeah, let's hope we're going on holiday.
Well, you've got to make that happen, haven't you, really?
Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
Especially, see, to me, I think if you're working so hard, Ferne, like for your mum and with your mum and sort of managing her, like you should, without a shadow of a doubt, should have, like, obviously put it through your books as well, like, because it's a business sort of, like, venture thing, like that you should have a time out where you're visiting somewhere.
I know.
It's just what it is. It's what happens is you choose. I've chosen for this to be my life, which is basically like you reading for people. You can't. You either do it or you don't.
But I still think you've got to have time out for yourself, though. Like I think you've still got to think to yourselves, like, right, we need to have, because it's the same with your phone. You've got to charge it up. You've got to charge your phone up, and you still need to be in a position where you're charging your own batteries up and having something to look forward to. Do you know what I mean?
Go and get me my lead. It's outside. Where is? That's not from my iPad, the other one. I do, my phone's just come up, you saying that. It's just come up low battery. That's my phone.
How weird.
That's your phone. We'll go and get the lead. See, say it, I'm low on battery. Yeah, see your pictures on the knee, Good. Pick it up. The thing is that with the work that you and I do, Steve, it's all or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It is all. It has to be, because people are wanting answers, aren't they? And I haven't got the answers, but I can tell you what I pick up around you. Do you know what I mean?
I always just tell people, like, you know, like, I mean, I'm not trying to make fun of anyone, but you know, when people have these, like, I do this sort of reading and that reading and this reading, and it's like a menu of different things. It's like, I only do one reading. Whatever I get, I give you, and that's it.
I like to do. I like cards, because what that can do is that can open up a conversation. The cards can open up a conversation, and it's really weird how I can give what I call open mediumship, which is basically just going in what I'm picking up, and then I'll pick a card and it relates to what I've just said. It's like crazy.
I did that last night. I was saying stuff to somebody, and then it still surprises me. And then the card come out word for word what I was saying.
But you see, Steve, the moment you and I, or any medium, the moment any medium isn't blown away at times by what they say, is the time they've got to stop.
Because they're not bothered.
I still stand on stage and it's like, what? I go, oh my God. And then I normally say, it gets a laugh, I normally say, you know, call me psychic, or, you know, why am I surprised? This is the work that I do. But I'm constantly surprised by what our brain can receive.
Do you get, a lot of people mention dreams as well? Like, do you ever find, like, when you're having a dream, like, that you'll sort of bring it into something in your,
well, yeah,
sort of...
very precognitive. But I had a precognitive dream. She gets a couple of weeks ago, and it was Mum was on stage, and I very rarely dream. I have dreams that I remember, but Mum was on stage, and she walked across, and she was doing the show, and I was at the show, and a bit of the set went to fall on Mum, and I stood up and I went, "Get her off the stage!" And Andy, who's our crew, he jumped and he pushed her out the way, and then I woke up. And I didn't tell Mum, because I thought, how is it the set's not going to fall on her? Oh, you're not going to believe what happened. And then 2 days later, Mum phoned me and went, oh my God, I nearly died today. And I said, why? What's the slight exaggeration? Slight exaggeration. I said, why? What happened? Oh my God, we went to this theatre and they just had panto. And I went, oh right. She said, yes, and they hadn't fixed their set. Said, and I was doing Andy was putting the screen up. Andy was putting the screen up, and I was doing my walk on, because she does a walk on and she does a sound session, I think. And a bit of their set clapped, nearly fell on me, and if it's fallen on me and hit my head, I would have died. So it would have really damaged her. So then Andy ran on, grabbed me, and pushed me out the way.
So, I want to play devil's advocate here now, mind, Ferne. Do you think in future, if you ever get a dream like that you should maybe tell her?
I know. Why didn't I tell her?
And do you know, that might be a sign that in the future, if you ever get one, like, you should actually preempt her about it, because...
Yeah.
And imagine if something had happened.
I know, I'd have been like, oh my God.
I wish I'd said something, do you know what I mean?
Do you not think the things that come true are things that we don't mention? It's like...
Yeah.
You know, when I think of, I mean, the generic term, ghosts, I mean, this is when the cynics and skeptics have they think it's amazing, don't they? And they want to have a go at you. But basically, every time I've ever seen a ghost, it's when I haven't expected it, when I thought it was a real person, and afterwards it's like, oh my God, that was a ghost. And it's like, why didn't I know this is what I do? But every time I've gone maybe paranormal hunting or whatever they bloody call it, wanting to see one, you don't. But when I've never ever, every time it's been a genuine ghost is when I've never expected it. And it's been there.
I remember going to a lady's house, right? And they just lost the mum. This is when I used to go to people's house. I didn't now, because I'm sick of dealing with, you know, people who drink and can on it.
I know.
and you, do you know them clear glass panelled like doors that people used to have years ago?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, I was in the kitchen, right, and the woman's called Anne. She still follows us all the time, actually, which is it's a nice thing. Like when people still are following you.
Thank you, Anne. Thank you for following Steve.
And she'd lost her mum, right, and her brother had come round to see what the crack was. He wasn't having a booking with us, but like he was like, well, I didn't, you know, that type of stuff. I didn't believe in all this and whatever. Anyway, I says, where's the bathroom? And this is, oh, it's just down there. And so I went to the bathroom before I started, and like I'd looked into the living room, clear glass, and there was a woman sitting on the sofa, and she turned and she smiled at us, like, you know when somebody's got a bit of a sore neck. I still remember it. And she turned and like she smiled at us, and then like looked back, right.
I know what you're gonna say.
And I looked again, right, and gone, right, and I was scared. So I shouted into the kitchen. Right, and I went, hey, I've just seen someone in your sitting room, you know, like I was shocked, you know what I mean? Because everyone was yapping away, they couldn't hear us. And I thought, Steve, just go in the bathroom, get sorted, what's that? Aye.
Yeah.
So anyway, we go in the bathroom, comes out, Gans in, a young lass had come in, I don't know, 18, 19, whatever. So she came into the sitting room with us and that, sat down. So I'm talking away to her and whatever, and I just got a Nana feeling, mentioned Nana, mentioned things, mentioned how she passed, pod me, whatever had happened. I just said it all. And she went, well, funny enough, she went, me Nana actually passed away while you were sitting. Well, I'd forgotten that I'd just seen this woman. Yeah. And I'd said to her, I want to show you the photo actually. And I said to her, I said, you know, funny enough, I'd went to the bathroom early and I seen somebody sitting here, and then I started drawing. And I was like, whoa, that's the woman. This is her here. She'd only been past a few weeks. And this is what I drew. And I drew that.
Oh, on your show. Sorry, let me just get I've got to get new glasses. Oh my.
So I drew that, and that was that. And she was sitting looking at us, man. She was sitting looking at us, and I was like this girl in Ireland, she'd lost her son. He was like 22 years old. I didn't even draw this.
Look, it's in the reflection of her glasses.
And I zoomed in, and I says, "Are you looking at the photo at the moment?" She went, "No, why?" And then
I tell you where else you want to look. I was. This was last year in my sitting room over there. And I'd lit the fire. Oh yeah. This is I've got photos. Have you got to get the photos up? I don't think you sent them to me. So I'm sitting there, and the telly's on. I think Strictly Come Dancing was on, something like that. You know, it was noisy. The dog's there, not thinking about work or anything. And all of a sudden, I thought, oh my God, I've thrown a picture of John away. I've got, you know, a hardcore picture in the fire. So I shot up to look, and I thought, where's it? I thought I never put a photograph of John in. Where's that photograph gone? So I stepped back to where I was sitting, and oh my God. WTF, I'm telling you now, there was my John's face in the fire. So I grabbed my phone, took a photograph of it, sent it to Ferne and went, oh my God, I've just seen Daddy. And there was his face in my fire.
Do you know when I first ever started, right, before I even knew I could do this, you were probably on the telly at the time, right? This is gospel truth, right? Just off what you've said that. My stepdad had passed away when I was like 17, right?
Yeah.
And you're talking about fires, right? This is what I saw when I first ever started.
Oh my God.
This is before I could even draw, before I could do anything I do. I seen a massive purple orb, and that face there is a spitting double of what, like, can you see the teeth and the nose?
Yeah, this photograph, we're trying to find it. I don't keep mine. I should sort them all out. Yeah. So basically, what I do now is sometimes I have to get the feeling. I can't just do it randomly. I have to get a feeling. And then what I do is when I get the feeling, I think, oh my God, I'm going to take a photograph of the fire. And then I think, oh God, I don't want to. And then this is the work that I do, but this is when it's personal to me. And I think I take a photograph, and there he is. His face is there again.
Do you never get feelings that he's there as well? Do you never feel him lying next to you and stuff like that?
You're not.
2 days after he died, he was at the end of my bed.
Oh, well, believe it. I can't.
And he was, but it was weird because he was young. He was like, he was how
when you were a little girl.
Yeah, he was how he looked when I was young, and he had dark hair. He didn't look how he looked when he died.
But I tell you the really interesting thing, and I've never.
And he was there for like 5 seconds, and he was just smiled at me.
And I've never ever felt this. I've never felt the need to say this to a client or to anyone I'm reading for. There was an incident that happened after he died, and luckily I had a witness. And basically, I knew he'd been given permission. This is really crazy, because if you said to me, you know, do they have to get permission? I'd go, no, they're just there. I picked them, and I said out loud, John, you've got to thank them, whoever allowed you to come through. Someone's allowed you to come through. I knew that I needed to thank them. Mm-hmm. And this person, it was Martin who was a witness, and I said, and Martin went, what are you talking about? I said, I don't know, Martin, but he's come through because they've said, well, we're going to allow you to go through and see her. It was really bizarre, because I've never, ever, ever said to anybody, you've got to thank whatever is there that allows us to come through. But I knew I had to.
Hits you different, doesn't it, when it's your personal?
I said, well, of course.
Like you sort of, I don't know. It's like when you're saying you've got a witness. I think when it's like when I connect with me nana, like every now and again she'll come through like really strong, and for no reason, because she was like my mum really, and then like she'll come and then she'll go up, but it's a sequence of things that you didn't realise at the time. It's only when you think about it after.
Well, exactly. I do think that. That's what I'm saying. Everything, you know, when they say flippantly, oh, I saw a ghost, when you know they haven't. And I always say, everything has to be lined up like that. You've only got to be off slightly and it's not going to happen.
Have you ever had something that you've never realised for years? I'll give you an example. I don't know if you're familiar with the song of Madness. Oh, I'm sailing across the sea to see me Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
Right, now that song, I've never ever heard of it since I was probably 8 or 9, right? And me nana had bought that song, right? I bought that record. I think it was blue. But she bought this record and she used to play it all the time in the record player. You know, we have them old wooden record players of years ago. Anyway, my granddad was called Sammy Black, Charles Samuel Black, and she used to play this song all the time when I was a kid, right, and laugh about it and whatever. She was always a joker and stuff, and like I'd never realised, right, ever in all these years, I'm 46 now, that she'd bought that record because it had me granddad's name in, Sam. And I was driving back from the Metro Centre in like Gateshead. I don't know if you're familiar with that area, but I was driving home. And I was putting like songs on, and it popped in my head, that song, right, for out the blue. So I played it, right. Like I thought, do you know what? I'm gonna play that song, like, and see if I can remember what it sounded like, because I've never ever heard it. And I felt me nana come into my mind and gone, like, you stupid git. It was because your granddad's called Sammy, and I'm like, you know, when you get that light bulb moment, and you're like, it, fucking hell. You're talking like, what, 37 years? I've never realised that, like, that was what you bought the record for, but that meant something to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, me, when if I'd have said it to anyone, they would have been like, what are you on about?
As you say, it was a light bulb moment.
Well, funny enough, on the Friday, I was live in my kitchen, and the lights were just kind of nuts. Like, really, like, it was actually concerning us, and I never get concerned.
We can be working here. I mean, I've downsized. After John died, I downsized, and I've got this in the kitchen there. We'd only just moved in onto the wall.
Oh, yeah.
And we were doing a live, and I don't know why. People are lovely, and they mentioned John. And I said, oh, yeah, John will be with me in here. We've been in the house. And all of a sudden, on the brick wall, it went. So I went, oh, the front door. Get the front door, because I hadn't got a bell put up. No one at the front door. So I said, Ferne said, but it came from the window, Mum, the wall. So I got up and I looked out and I thought, well, there's no one there. So we sat down, and just as a joke, I went, is that you, John? Do it again. And it went, what? We nearly died. We both shouted.
What about when we were in the other house? And the George's.
Well, that's my son.
That's 21st birthday. That was the September. March, and Dad died in September.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
So 6 months after he died, and George was like my dad's golden child. Like, he loved me so much. And so it was we'd arranged, John said, we're going to give you a big party in the garden, you can have a marquee, la 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 la. So when it was coming up to his birthday, typical like 21-year-old, he comes down and goes, Nan, I know you've just lost Granddad now, but he wanted the party. And I went, you can still have the party, darling, of course you can. We'll do it like Granddad would want you to have that party.
Aye, like a memory as well.
Yeah. So we had the party and everything. And
12 o'clock at night.
Your mum's at home, and mum's in the front room, and then in the kitchen on the Alexa.
No, what happened was I had someone staying with me who was basically staying with me because I'd lost John, this fella. He was lovely, a friend of Ferne's. And he got up and he went, what's that noise in the kitchen? So it was just before it would have gone into the day after George's birthday. So it was 12 o'clock, dead on midnight. And he went, what's that noise? I went, oh, is there someone in my kitchen? Thinking it might have been someone left over from the party or whatever. So he goes out and he's out there, and I thought, what's he doing? So I get up and I went, and as I've gone out, he's white. And he said, Sally, listen. And Alexa had come on and it was playing, what did it say?
Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
No, before that, somewhere over it.
Nora Jones.
This has got to be a song connected to years as well, are you like?
Yeah, a Nora Jones song, like that one, Just Don't Tell Them the Lies.
Yeah, but basically it's not
Nora Jones song. I think
well, anyway, that was
Dad used to love the Nora Jones song that Dad used to
but
love.
it was just ending, and I went, did you put that on? He went, no, Sally. He said, it was like, it was playing, and we then all of a sudden, somewhere over the
Nora
radio,
Jones, come away with me.
come away with me.
Come away
With me. And it was just those, and it was like those last 4 words. So the song had been playing, but we hadn't heard it, and we heard the last bit. And then somewhere over the radio,
and somewhere
and literally, I felt like there was a bubble. And there's Martin at the end of the island in the kitchen, and I thought, why can't I get out? It was I've never, and that's when I knew it was John. That he was there for George, and I said, I knew I had to thank somebody for allowing him to come in.
Do you think though, Sally, like, even when like people pass, I mean, I believe it, like, but do you believe that like we've got soul partners?
Oh yeah.
Like where like it doesn't matter what happens.
Oh yeah, when I met John, because he didn't know what I did. I was really young. I was like 23 or something ridiculous like that. And I said, and of course he didn't really like me. He didn't really want to. And we went out for a drink, and he had a car, but no one had a car in those days. And I said, oh, do you want my telephone number? He went, no, I don't think so. I went, what? No fellow had ever said no. I went, what? He went, no, he said, I'm really busy. I went, you are going to have my number. So I had a lipstick, and I got a bit of paper out of his glove compartment, and it was an envelope. He was looking at me like I was completely mental. I'll never forget it. And I said, but we've got to go out. And he went, no. So I wrote my telephone number down, gave him the envelope. As he goes up the road, the envelope comes out the window. So I ran down the road, back down my
like
road,
a lunatic.
and I thought, I was furious. I was absolutely furious. But it's a long story. I won't go into everything how I got out with him, which was really bizarre in its own. But when I started going out with him, I said to him, I think we might get married. I makes me laugh. He went, no, I don't think so. I said, oh, I do. I said, because you're going to laugh at me, but I think you were my son in another life. Well, he thought he'd met, because I never talk about past lives. That just isn't how I work. But I said, I just feel like I know you, but you were my son. He went, I don't really like it when you talk like that. He said, what is it? I said, well, I won't say it again, but of course we got together and everything. And his back, I never forget it, it was his back. And he used to, when he used to be like laying there, he used to say to him, no, it's your back that I remember. He went, what? I went, it's your shoulders. And when she was born, she was like minutes old, and they flipped her over, and there was John.
See him back.
It was like, I mean, he was her father, so people would say, well, which of course, but it was like, it was the back I used to see when I met her father.
Like identical, like the same sort of shape and stuff.
And you've got identical shoulders. Unfortunately, I have. She's got little tiny weeny shoulders, and it was like, oh my, what a bizarre thing to remember, have in your mind.
Have you ever had a past life regression done, Sally?
No.
I have.
But
Have you? What was you?
I think I was in the resistance in France, definitely.
Yeah. Do you know something? I'm embarrassed to see it, only because like the person that I was meant to be, I'll say it, like was somebody like really famous back in the 1800s, and I was just like, why I? And like I said his name as well. Like I said that my name was this person, but it was weird because like I'd went to this woman to get it done, and it was like because I was bringing a book out, but I've like give up on it at the minute because like me dyslexia, and I just get stressed about it too much.
You'll do it. You've got to
get someone to help you do it.
I think it's time. I have got someone to help us.
We've got somebody that can help you. He's lovely.
It's just overwhelming though sometimes. But you know when you get that churn in your stomach every time you're thinking about doing your homework for school type of feeling.
Yeah.
It's like that. But anyway, so I had this past life regression done, and the girl had said to us, she said like, look, like I need to ask you like 3 things. Like sorry, you need to ask 3 questions or something. And I wanted to know why I was here for this time round, and why I had this ability. I can't remember the other 2, but anyway, like I recorded it. Like I just haven't done that with it. But can you remember who was the president of the United States in 1806?
Was that
Is that who you was?
Who do you think it was?
Was it hold on, it's going to come to me in a minute.
Didn't it be Googling it?
No, I'm not Googling. They're my hand.
No, I'm just joking.
Oh no, he's what was his name? He was a little guy. Oh God.
I don't know.
Was it not? Wasn't Williamson? Was it?
I don't know any history. American history, I'm afraid.
No, I'm no good at American history, but somehow I do. Except I can't remember.
I'm only saying that because you have people who are like very sceptical. They'll say, well, everybody knew that, like, you know, you'll have probably done history or whatever. But the guy was called Thomas Jefferson.
Oh, Jefferson. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, allegedly. And I'd said, like, oh, my name's Thomas, and I'm sitting in the White House, and this, that, and the other. And he just says, what year is it? And I says, it's 1806, blah, 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 blah. I'm not expecting anybody to believe us. And anyway, after we talked about it and stuff, and I'd said like who I was, and I says like I was 83 or 86 or something like that when I died, and I stopped myself and I says I couldn't have been 86 in the 1800s. Who would have lived to that age? Like in the 1800s, like when there was tuberculosis, Black Death, you know, all these things. Yeah. And the girl who was doing the past life regression, she stopped and she went, no, she went, wealthy people used to live to ripe old ages. It was only the poor that didn't live like long because of like the way they lived, and I described like loads of things, and she says I want to take you to the time in your life where you were most happy. And I was sitting like in this house that looked like somewhere off Little House on the Prairie, and I was sitting in a rocking chair, right, looking at this fire, and I was like, I had like steam in a bucket, and I was struggling to breathe, whatever. And she says, why is this the most happiest time? And I says, because I'm about to die, and I'm looking forward to seeing my wife again, because she died when she was 23, and I've missed her ever since. And not a clue what I was talking about, obviously. And then the next thing I know, like, I mean, there's more to it, but when I came home, I YouTubed it, and I YouTubed him, sorry, like in the morning. I woke up 4 o'clock in the morning for no reason. I'd met her at 4 o'clock for this past life regression, and I woke up 4 o'clock in the morning, wide awake. So I came downstairs and I watched 2 or 3 videos on them, and everything that I was seeing and the pictures I was describing was all in these videos, and I was just like,
isn't that crazy?
Oh, and I got told as well when I connected with me higher self, and I was like talking to something that just felt as if I was talking through my mind. I mean, I've never had it since, but it was mad. And I was talking away to whoever this person was, like higher self or whatever. And I was asking, and she says, "You asked why you're here for," so I asked, and I got told that I'm here to help people without them even realising I'm helping them, or even I'm realising I'm helping them.
Yeah.
I read a girl, Sally, once, man, up in Scotland. She was having a heart attack in front of us. Like, as I was like, there was no symptoms. Like, I was feeling the symptoms, but she was having a heart attack as I was talking to her, and I kept getting tucked to my chest with her. And I says to her, "You need to get some of your chest." And her daughter came in from work, and says, "What did he say, Mum?" And she says, "Oh, he mentioned chest and blah." And well, are you getting pains in your? Oh, well, I am, but I didn't want to see and all that. So anyway, she'd rang 111. Next thing you know, she's getting blue light at the hospital. She had to get 3 stints put in her heart, and she was in hospital for 4 days. That's the truth. I've got loads of stories like that where I've read people and like I've told them certain things. Even the last couple of like weeks, I've told people stuff. Last night, the girl I read last night, I put the live up. I was getting pains in my eye, and she went, "Oh, I've got dry eye syndrome because I keep wearing my contacts and not wearing glasses." That was just last night. I feel people's symptoms like with you, Fern. I felt with Fern, like I don't know, I felt a little bit like sometimes her nerves get that bad. Where there are times that she feels a little bit sick sometimes.
I do get that.
Well, she's had problems with her tummy anyway.
Yeah, I have got all that, yeah.
That's what I got as soon as I come on with you, Fern. I just felt like straight away with you, I thought, it's stress with her. Like she feels sick a lot, but I feel like the stress, this is one of the worst things for causing pains and ailments and stuff, you know. Fern.
No, I'm a stress head.
I know, but you need to like sort of like manage it. I feel like you need to like
I'll get another job.
be aware of it. I don't think getting another job would make a difference.
I can't have another job. What are you talking about?
It's the way you are, Fern. I think you need to be aware of the way you are.
She needs a holiday. That's what she needs.
But I am quite a calm person.
Yeah, she's very calm.
I'm not picking on you. I'm not picking on you. I'm not criticising you. I'm only telling you what I get. That's all.
Calm.
Sorry?
I'm outwardly calm, inwardly stressed.
Well, the inwardly stressed is probably what's going to affect your health if you're not careful as we're getting older. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm not saying it like I say it to criticise you or anything like that. I'm just telling you what I get. But who's it coming from? I can only assume, and I'm just assuming this, that it's your dad. That you're getting really like too stressed, and it's not doing you any favours. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, that's killed the tempo, isn't it? That's killed it.
Well, because she won't let me do anything. That's the thing, Steve. She's got to do it herself. She's a person that everything she can't delegate.
She's probably, to me, the impression I get with her, I feel like she's a very protective person. I feel with her that she's like to me, I get like it's as if because she's had like the upbringing and the support around her, she wants to keep like the family and be protective of what yous have got. But I think it's coming at a cost with her because I feel like she cannot like ever like think, you know what? Maybe it's like we'll just let things out like flow the way they're meant to flow. I need to keep like. You know, she's going to be one of them people when she's older, and where you're gone, she'll be like one of them nannies who's just like family. I mean, I feel like she's like, no.
She's always saying, stay in your own lane. And she's always saying, like, projects that are, like, in the air that haven't been finalised. She's always, well, if it's meant to be, you know, if something's meant to be, it's not going to pass you by, which is true. So you do let things go, don't you?
Well, I think she'll be in a lot better place if she reads that book, because I think that book will really help me.
I'm going to get it.
Because it really helped me, and I wouldn't recommend a book that I hadn't read myself, but that really changed my mindset. Just about it. Do you know what the book's basically all about? Just living in the present moment of now. Just living in the now. Like
difficult for you and I, who always are living in the past, really, because we're talking about things that have happened. So that we get validation, or so that the person gets validation. So that's very difficult when your work is not in the now.
Did you have a spiritual like?
No,
a spiritual awakening?
No, I didn't.
Because I got told in churches that it'll hurt you when it happens, and I ended up in hospital.
No, I never had anything. I've never had a mentor. I've never had anybody. I had somebody when I was a little girl.
What did you think you can ask you?
Oh, I thought it was going to. Have I read anyone that has said that it'll make you ill or you can't do it?
Like when I went to like churches initially, I mean, I'm not very keen on them if I'm honest with you, but when I first went, like when I first started out wanting to learn and discovering what had happened to us when I was in a BFAT, that's what I got told about, like this spiritual awakening. But like, I don't know if it was coincidental, because is anything a coincidence? But like, I did end up like pretty bad, and for about 9 months, I had like chronic fatigue where my immune system was really low. But I sort of self-healed myself. I was just eating like a lot of berries and antioxidants, and then I just started feeling better. And I don't know so much now because I haven't been like away anywhere, but hotel keys, metro tickets when you go on the train, lights were gone on and off, even cars when I was driving on the street and in my house.
She's a nightmare with electric.
I'd blow everything.
Same.
When she was filming, through their series, or when she does anything with filming, they set all the lights up, they do everything. She blows them all.
No, that's happened to me. It doesn't now, but it did.
Why? They'd be like, this never happens. But
I walk on set and it goes bang.
She blows everything.
Do you not like forgetting that, like thinking I'm sick of this phone, I'm sick of this TV remote, I'm sick, like, because that's what happens with me. I've got to remind myself, like, remember, Steve, it's because of you, because like you're taking stuff back to the shops and seeing it's not working, like, over the years.
I blew the washing machine yesterday, and I'm looking in the top drawer for a little thing, a little, what do they call them? Fuse.
Warranty.
I'm looking for a fuse because I've blown it. Because what I did was I put the washing machine on and the tumble dryer. Then I put and then all of a sudden, it's tripped and it's like, and 3 times it happened. 3 fuses, but it's just me. And then what I have to do is I have to walk away. I went into the garden, walked around the garden, did something else, went back, and it was perfect.
Sally, do you ever stand in your bare feet in the garden?
Oh, I don't like shoes, do I? I'm always walking around bare feet.
Like grounding, like when you, like, because they say like grounding's, like, especially for us, it's very important.
I mean, I'm not poo-hooing any of that.
Sorry?
I'm not poo-hooing all of that, but I just do what I do, and I've always done it since I was a little girl. So it's a bit like, it's like a habit, how I work. You know what I mean?
No, I mean more about when you're like popping electrics and stuff, because you might have a build-up of charge in you.
Oh, definitely. And I have to walk away.
Because when you're building energy up, like obviously connecting, bump.
It was cold yesterday. I weren't going to go with bare feet yesterday.
I got a grounding mat, me. I got this mat thing. It was Dana White. Some guy some health coach guy had really helped. Dana White is like the president of the UFC, Ultimate Fighting Championships. And he was in a really bad way, health-wise, like really bad. And this guy, I forget his name, but anyway, he was talking about this grounding mat, what you put into your earth and in your plug and your socket. And I started using it in the house, and I says to my wife, it was like, I said, it was a Monday when I said it, because she's always off work on a Monday, she's a hairdresser. And I said to her, I don't know if this is working or not. I says, but I feel more relaxed when I stand on it. Like, and she went, well, does it make a difference? And I says, what do you mean? She went, well, if it's working for you, whether it's a placebo or not, if it's working, it's working.
It's working,
exactly. Anyway, I've got this little shed that I'm in, right? Like I've kitted it out like a studio in the lockdown. I built it for the band as a Wendy house, but she never used it, so I used it as like my studio. And anyway, I brought it into here, right? And I plugged it in. I plugged it into the socket in here, right? And I didn't feel anything from it. Like I didn't feel. Now, I mean, this might be another coincidence. I don't know. So I'd unplugged it. I'd rolled it up and I put it out the way. And I thought, whatever. So anyway, fast forward. I bought this mic that I'm talking on right now. I started soundproofing the room and stuff, and I bought this mic. But when I was doing recordings and stuff, it was like humming, like really loud. So I Googled like what the possibilities of what it could be causing it, and it says that if your earth's not connected, like that, like not even if or but, that's what it'll be. So I bought one of these testers, what you plug in, and if the 3 orange lights is on, obviously everything's wired up. If it's not, there's a problem. Well, the earth one didn't light up. So I took the socket open, right, and the earth cable had came out of the socket. So I'd put it back in, fastened it back in, put it back on, plug this in, no humming anymore, working perfect. And it was like maybe a couple of days, maybe a week later, I don't know. But when like some twigs in your head and you're like, yeah, that mat. I wonder if that was what. So I plugged the mat back in, and I started feeling the difference again. So that proves to me that earthen mat, grounding mat, actually works for me. But like I say, each to your own. But if you're blowing things all the time, it might be worth you like getting where you're getting like sort of where you're grounding yourself and taking that negative charge, because you're working with high vibrational energy all the time.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I was cleaning my fire out the other day, and it's never happened on the handle, and went to open the thing and got the biggest electric shock you could think.
Mm-hmm. I think you've got to. I think you should get one of them.
To me, log burner, a grounding mat. Right, she'll get me one. She'll get me one on Amazon.
YouTube, but it's I was getting Reiki healing like of a girl called Joanne, and this was like God about 12 years ago, and she was talking about like earthing and all that, and like imagining you're a tree with roots going through the ground and things like that, and I'm laughing, but that's the way she worded it. And I was walking the dog once out next to Pension Monument, and I was in like walking across a field, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to take my socks and shoes off, and I'm just going to stand on the grass and see if it does feel any different. I wasn't expecting.
Why you love gardening and being in the garden so much?
Aye, because she's earthing herself, not realising it with her hands, but if she stood on it with her feet. Aye. It's like, you know, when you go on holiday and you're walking along the beach and you've got your socks and shoes off, obviously, because nobody... Aye. But you know, you always think, right, you always think it's because it's the sun and the heat that makes you feel relaxed, which a little bit of it probably is.
For grounding.
But it might be, because the feeling that I have on holiday when I'm walking on the beach is the same feeling I have when I walk with my bare feet on grass.
Yeah, I love that feeling.
So do I.
And I think Ferne should try it as well. I mean, it might work, it might not, but...
Go on holiday.
Yeah,
Walk along the sea.
you are going away, aren't you?
I'm going away, I am.
I think you definitely you're like...
No, not really.
You should be booking a bit of a working holiday, both of you, really, like, because you know, like, it's something to look forward to as well, isn't it? You're like building towards, like, right, we're in May, the first week of May, we'll go wherever, South France, Spain, whatever, and we'll Fern, I know, but you could make that happen, and you can still be working on your.
I've already decided I'm going over to see some friends in France.
That ain't gonna happen.
But when are you and Fern going to do it?
Oh no, shit, I won't go. Well, see enough of them. They need their holidays on their own.
But you two could still have a holiday together and make memories, because, you know, we're not here forever.
No, the thing
Like,
is to look after my dog when I go away.
Yeah, I'm the dog looker after.
oh, is that the reason? Oh my God, that's why I didn't go away, you know. That's the whole reason why I don't go away.
I mean, I've got
Because
a
of my
dog
dog.
and a cat, you know, they're my life.
My house is like a kennel. 4 of them.
Really? 4 dogs? Well, 3 dogs and a cat.
Hers, it's 4. When I have hers, it'll 4 dogs.
Oh well, that irons that one out then. That's not years going away together then. So where are you going to be next then, Sally?
Where am I going next? I'm going.
Where are you?
I'm this week. Where am I? It's on the fridge. And let me go and get it. Hold on.
What the hell was that?
Her Game of Thrones. Her Game of Thrones song on her phone, because she's obsessed with Game of Thrones. That's what she loves to watch. But
Do you like watching Game of Thrones? My wife used to watch that a lot, like.
Yeah, I used to like watching it. I don't watch it still. It's just Mum watches it all the time.
You know nothing, Jon Snow. I love it.
I blame all this on my wife. Like, this only ever started when I met her. It was like the first time that I'd actually like chilled and relaxed. But I was getting like electrical feelings off her as well. It was mad.
So Thursday I'm in Kettering at the Lighthouse. Friday Worcester, Huntington Hall, and Saturday I'm working Saturday.
Yeah, it's very rare you do something.
Yeah, and Norwich Memorial. So yeah, I'm away. I'm away all this month, and a couple of gigs next month, and then I don't work until September, which is lovely. So we can do lots of filming and other bits and pieces. You know, you need space to do that.
1,000,000%. So you must be on the road quite a lot then.
Oh, each week, continual.
I hope you've got a driver.
I am.
My husband.
He's my tour manager.
Is he? Because
He organises everything.
I'll drive to places and then Blake will drive back, you know, like that's what we usually do. But when I went to the Wirral a couple of weeks ago, like it says on the sat nav, it was 3.5 hours away from Newcastle where I am, and like it was 5.5 hours later by the time I got there. I literally pulled up, was getting me stuff out the car and setting everything up before the show. It was just, and then as soon as it finished, I put everything in my car and then I was travelling back home, and I didn't think I got on there till 2 o'clock.
Yeah, it's hard.
Touring is a slog, but you when you know. But when you're wanted all over the bloody country, it's like you get on a roll and it becomes addictive.
Yeah, I would agree. I was listening to Spot. Do you know that guy, the comedian guy, who's he's quite abrupt with people, the gingerish lad from Liverpool, Paul Smith.
I don't know him.
He's always cheeky with people and that. He's like, so what do you do? What do you do? No, that type.
Yeah.
And he was saying the same about he says he filled, it was Newcastle he was saying, he was in the City Hall for 2 days and he said he filled it out, and he said, like, I was only listening to his podcast a couple of days ago, and he said that like the high that he had was that amazing that when he got home for days he was just sitting depressed, like he couldn't understand why. Like he says that it was the biggest show and the biggest like point in his life. He says, but I've heard a lot of people say that in podcasts who have hit a big time and that they find it hard to like come down off it.
Yeah, I think that with me, I mean, when I was like filling out 3,000 seaters, you know, in Scotland and all over the UK, you don't have the really big theatres down here anymore, but up there in the Midlands and up north, I wasn't even recognising that it was that big.
No.
You just
Because you don't fill them anymore.
Yeah, it's like I had no idea. Then you just did it. It was just something that you did, you know. And then you might do a hall with 1,000 people. You might do a hall with 500. But you know, as long as the hall or the theatre, it's not even the halls, the theatres are full up, no matter how big or small. That's all you want, because you get the vibes. Then you get the atmosphere.
The most I think I've done up to now, like, is 150 people.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. But you're going to do huge hall. You're going to do theatres, so don't worry. You're going to do theatres.
But I'm getting to a point now, and I don't mean this in a big-headed way, that like, and I don't know if you feel the same, but probably what you've just said, really, like, whether I'm like I've got 50, 100, or even I think 300 or 1,000, I don't think my nerves and whatever I deal with will be no different now. I think.
Well, that's it. Your work is no different. I work no different if I'm in front of 10 people than I do if I'm in front of 3,000.
No, because we do close encounters as well, which are intimate ones, and it's exactly the same.
It's exactly the same. And I think I just go on and you just do it and you pick it up, and all my shows are personality led. I have a laugh with people. I can't do my work unless there is humour in it. It comes naturally.
I get told that a lot, you know. Like there's loads of people said to me over the last year or two, they've said, you know, if you never made it as a medium, you could always make it as a clairvoyant. The last show I did in Middlesbrough, a girl had said, I've been to loads of comedians. She says, and I've never laughed so much but I think it's probably because they're not expecting the humour.
Yeah,
like
some people don't like that, but then you just have to.
Well,
someone else.
You have, you know, each to their own. And people, I cannot make an excuse for who I am.
Yeah. No, definitely not. I'm the same. I tell people, like, is it right if I have a bit joke with you? And they'll say, yeah, well, I will be anyway, because I cannot help it. Like, it's just the way I am. I've got a joke, because I think the reason why I joke is it helps me cope with me nervousness, me anxiety. So, like,
I'm not aware of it. I never change. No, you're very you need to be your natural. You're very organic, and you're going to develop, and you're going to fill out theatres, and you're going to become very well known. And I think that you're interested also in the technology side, aren't you? You're very good with the technology.
Yeah, I've had to learn myself, like, when I appreciate everything you're saying, but massively, I really do, especially from like, because you'll be familiar with a guy called Gordon Smith as well, are you?
Oh yeah, but he's in Florida now. He does the mediumship.
Well, I'd read his books, you know, like forced myself to read them. As I say, I'm dyslexic, but I read his books, and I met him in Durham, and like, it's the same with speaking with you now. It's like these people, yourself and Gordon and that, like, years ago, like when I'm looking, like, if you want to look at it this way, when I'm looking up like this at you. And like, I'm not saying that I'm at your level, I'm not saying that, or Gordon's, but like, now that I'm like actually talking to you, it's like, can I just pinch myself a minute? Do you know, like that? But it doesn't feel like that now. But I probably, when I come off the phone, I'll be thinking about it and thinking,
I think that, you know,
I've just been talking to Sally Morgan, like,
yeah, but I think people that reach a certain level, you have to bring other good mediums into it, because I'm not going to be here forever. I mean, you know, I'm not going anywhere yet, but I won't be here forever. And we need people like you, and we need people like Craig. He's another good medium. Yeah. You know,
there's a girl on here, right? I don't know if she's still watching this, right? And she's a massive, humongous supporter of me, right? She's one of me mods as well, and like she's very shy. I would definitely say that, and she holds herself like back, as in like I'm catapulting myself forward, and you know, as you see the technology, and I'm promoting myself and all of that. Where like I'm really like, I mean, she struggles with health massively, and I really feel for that with her, but I can honestly say she's better than me. She's unbelievable. Like when she'd read me, she slapped that many names of different people that I've even forgot about in my family. I was just like, and I promote her as much as I can, all the time. Mantha,
what's
she's
her name? What's her name?
Mantha. She's called Mantha. She might be on here now. She'll probably be getting, no, I didn't mention it, but
Spell it.
Mantha. That's her name, Mantha. And
Mantha, yeah.
Mantha, well, she's called Samantha, but like she calls herself Mantha. But she's so reserved, but yet, like, honestly, like, if you watch some of her readings on here, they're just like, they're at another level. Like, they really, really are, like, unbelievable.
We need people like that. We need people that are, you know, I call them like true mediums. True mediums, but the real deal.
Oh, she's a true medium.
You've got to have that.
Do you not think all people deserve it, the credit as well? Like,
of course, I need to, you know, I need to be patting all, like, people like you and Mantha on the back. You need to be encouraged, because you're a true medium.
But the thing is as well, like, you'll probably not realise this, but your TV shows, whether people want to accept it or not, has inspired people. You know, like for you to like step into the like open, like, sort of, you know, media world, and like go and do TV shows, like, regardless of whatever people think of you, like, you've went and inspired other people to think, do you know what, like, I didn't feel like I'm hiding behind a shadow anymore now. I think, well, if they can do it, then I should. I mean, I see people.
I think you're in a way you're more talented than me. I can't. I know.
Show did that.
Yeah, it did that. I can't. I'm not an artist. I can't draw.
But Sally, when I first started out, like, I mean, I maybe I've got an agreement with Spirit, because I need as much validation as other people. But if you, me and my wife laugh sometimes about these, but like, there's some drawings I've done, and like, I've thought, wow, like, these are like me earlier ones. Do you know what I mean? Like, things that I've, like, when I first ever started, like, but when you're looking at them compared to like now, because I've never give up. Like, I've really, like, been driven, like, to constantly, like, draw and because I don't know if you're the same, Sally, but I find it, like, frustrating, like, not frustrating massively, but like, when I'm trying to explain something about someone, like, if I'm trying to, like, sort of, well, I can see the hair and I can see this and I can see that, like, to me, this is just for me though, like, I'm not saying that, like, you know, because I know I'm one of very few who do the drawings, but when I draw someone, it puts my mind at rest, because I think, like, if I've drew them, I can go, well, that's what I can see.
Yeah, like,
do you know?
But actually put on paper what you can see in your head. You can get it out there visually. That's so clever.
Yes.
It's so clever you can do that.
Because doing that, it's like, and it takes me longer, obviously, because, you know, you kind of just draw, like, you know, the way we can talk, but it gives me that, like, reassurance, because, like, it's took me a very long time. I would only say the last 4 to 5 years to, like, and even if I'm feeling a bit down sometimes, and it's not saying it for self-pity, I'm just being honest, there is sometimes I still question, like, I still think, hey, God, like, is this making sense? Like, you know, when you've got someone who's just unsure what you're talking about, but then when you draw the loved one and you're going, who's that? And they're like, you've just drew me mum. Like, that is me mum. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So it adds another level to it.
Well, it is. It's another layer, isn't it?
Yeah.
That people love, because also when you do this work, there's nothing better than something visual. It's like having the camera on stage. If my audience can see the person I'm talking to, on the screen, the visual brings it alive.
Yeah.
And it's the same with exploring.
Well, because that's another thing as well. When I do shows, I went out my way to get like an expensive mic, like a singing one, for people to talk so that everyone can hear, like what is said. I've got this Britney Spears mic thing, because obviously with I'm David, I need to I can't be older mic, and then like obviously me runner Blake will go out and give them the mic, and then everyone. But I record it as well. Now I've got a proper like a Rolls Royce dictaphone thing that I record all of the audio, and then I mix that in with the videos, so because people can hear what's being said. Because like, I'm not knocking anyone, but there is some people out there who will talk over them and say, oh well, I've got this, and if they see another, go, oh well, I've got this, but like. We want the people to speak, I mean, the amount of times that I've read people, and this is the truth, is in shows, like nearly every show, somebody will come over to us in the interval, and they'll say, Steve, do you know that reading you've done? And I'm like, yeah. When you mentioned Simon, Leanne and John and Peter and all this, you were right, actually. I've just realised, because John's me dad, my son's me Peter.
Every single shot without fail.
And they'll bring a photo over as well. They'll bring a photo and they'll go, do you know that drawing you did that no one put the hand up for?
Yeah.
Do you think it's him? Yeah. And they're like an absolute carbon copy, spitting like a black and white version of who I've drew. And I'll go, what did you not put it up for? Oh, I was nervous. And I'm like, you're nervous? How do you think I feel?
Yeah. We get that all the time.
It's frustrating, isn't it?
You get really angry, but then, I mean, I see it. I see it from their perspective, that they're in a theatre, there can be 400 people, it's nerve-wracking to stand up, there's grief, they're full of grief. I get it that they don't want to stand up, they're being anxious, I understand, but then on the other hand, I think, you've bought a ticket, you're never going to get that opportunity again. Why did you not put your hand up? Stand up.
I'd get it. There was a show and I did in Washington. It was like a small venue, and when the show had finished, I was like, take me stuff out, and there was a lady in a wheelchair, and she said, Stephen. I was like, yeah, because I'll talk to anyone if I've got time, but if I'm miles away from home, I say to people, listen, you've had a drink, blah blah blah. I can't be talking to people messages, but I kind of talk to these because I've got to get home, which, you know what I mean? Because I don't know.
It's no good with our work, because
it's horrendous.
Mind altering. Yeah. It's mind altering. I mean, I'm not against anyone.
Alcohol, grief, don't work.
Oh. I know, but I totally agree with you. It's like, like when I used to go to people's houses and I'd say, dinner drink, if he's a drink, and I'll just walk out. And I've walked out of people's houses. I've just went, look, I'm sorry, gone, got me stuff and went. But anyway, I read this lady sort of stopped us. She was in a wheelchair, that's why she was waiting for everyone to leave so she could go. And she went, Stephen, do you know at the beginning? And I says, yeah, do you know when you said that guy's name, Anthony, and that he took his own life? And and I went, yeah. She went, well, my nephew was called Anthony and he took his own life and he was 23. She went, do you think that's him?
I mean, what can you do?
And I was like,
to water down.
I was like, why did you not see it? Yeah. I just froze. I just did not. And I'm like, well, it's a shame.
Every single show, and I can't go back. And I always say to them, look, I work instantly. It's either there or it's not. None of the messages are for me. I'm the medium.
Sometimes they just freeze.
Well, it is, but it's not good, like, for our image. Like, I mean, there's no we can do about it. And I know we're not doing it just for image, but, like, there'll have been everyone in that room. Like, well, I don't know if they were, like, thinking that way, but, like, there'll have been a lot of people thinking, he's just drawing random people. Do you know what I mean?
You do get people that think that, oh, well, she was rubbish, she didn't get anything, and you think, there's someone, you know that there's someone in this room and they can't take that, they're just not standing up.
It's just always after. It's always after people will come up to us, or they'll message us later on, and they'll say, oh, you know, because I see it to people, I see all them videos that I've put up on my TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, like there's probably about 10 or 20 readings that would blow them videos out the water, but I've never filmed them and they've been private, so you would never, do you know what I mean? Like,
oh God, well, we don't put our videos up. All our shows are filmed. All our shows are recorded. But obviously because
Illegal
for
reason.
people's protection, we can't put the videos up because
You haven't got their
we haven't
permission.
got their permission to show everybody. Not everybody wants their image image out there.
Legally, you meant to put a sign on the door saying there will be filming footage done tonight, and when people walk in.
People email in and say I don't want my.
But that's what I put up, and then as soon before the show starts, I tell everyone as well. I'll say, listen, man, I will be filming, blah blah blah. As long as you're giving people, like, you're letting people know you're filming.
Yeah, lots of people don't want their reading shown. Every show of mine is recorded, filmed and recorded. You have the audio and the film of it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to because I've got people out there that want to bring me down and will lie and say, well, actually, we're going to look at the footage, and then we get back to them and say, well, what you just said isn't on that footage.
It's the same with Michael Jackson, his bodyguard. He used to have, I listened to his podcast, and he says Michael used to have him, like, taking when there used to be camcorders, like, years ago, he used to have to go around filming everything to protect them. It's sad. It's sad when it gets to that, isn't it? When you've got to, like, protect yourself with body cams and stuff.
It does get to that.
It's sad. But that's what he went through.
Very, very sad, but I feel sorry for the people that feel they've got to do it. Like, I've got to,
Try.
I try and lie and blatantly lie. It's so sad.
It is. I totally agree with you, because there's a lot of people out there probably who are held back from, like, helping others and doing what they'd like to do because of the way things have went.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
as I say, I grew up doing my work with nothing like that. There was no. You had I remember computers, but the kids had the computers. It wasn't. You didn't have the internet, and you didn't have social media. I mean, what was the first social media that came out?
MySpace.
MySpace, but I didn't even have that.
It was MySpace. I think that's what the first one that came out. And then Facebook, I think, slowly came out. And then I think was it Instagram and Twitter started to step on, and then obviously now it's called X, and then now TikTok. I prefer TikTok, mate, like our Facebook.
Yeah,
I like to be able to bring people on, like, do you know what I mean, and, like, talk to them there and then.
Well, we'll have to do this again. We're so glad. Fern just said, "Oh my God, Mum, you've got to look at this guy." And I said, "Well, get him up. Let's have a look." And then you went live and went, "Oh, Mum, he's live." I went, "Let's join him."
I thought it was a fake account, to be honest, like, because, like, there's that many, isn't there?
I said, "Let's join him." I said,
when I heard your voice, I was like, oh, I think we've got the same manager on TikTok now,
Lindsay.
Yeah.
Lindsay's lovely. She's lovely. She'll help with everything.
She's helped me massively. Because I think you were talking to that girl from Liverpool who goes on a lot. There was Lisa, I think it was. You were all talking about going on holiday together, and you were saying, I kind of talk like this when Ferns can remember the other day. Yeah. When you were talking, well, I was on then. I was listening to you, and like Lindsay had messaged, like, said to me, like, have you been suspended? Because I'd been suspended off TikTok for what I didn't even know what reason it was for even now. And Lindsay said she'll sort it out for us, and so like I've signed up with her. It
can be a word that you say.
Aye.
You have to say unlived, don't you now? Don't even say anything. Don't say anything. You should get so. But you have to be really careful with certain words.
Because it's EI, isn't it? This is all EI orientated now. So, that's how it works. But
words and ban your band.
So she's looking into it because I've had some of me monetization videos or whatever. But I think. Because there's loads of fakes, I know she will. But anyway, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for joining us.
I'm so pleased that they're following you, darling, and good luck, well done, and we'll do this again.
And Fern, you need to read that book.
I will, thank you. She's going to push it, order it now for Amazon. I'll read it.
Right.
Amazon, where's the other place? Amazon for books. Yeah,
Amazon anywhere, really. I mean, the audiobook's free on YouTube. Yours as well. Take care and have a good day, guys, right?
Bye, darling. Bye.
See you later.
How do I get off of here? Will you?
I'm gone. I'm gone. I've done it for you. There you go, and shares. Thanks, Sally and Fern. I hope you have all enjoyed that live. I'm going to have to go myself, to be honest with you. It's like I'm meant to be going and shopping. But it's been a pleasure, and thanks everyone for watching that, and the new followers that's just joined us, and people who've been watching us for ages.